I've mentioned the word formatting several times during these videos, and that's what we're doing. We are formatting the strings, and in particular when we were using the backslash for new lines. And if I just put a /n in there, we're going to have hello on one line and 1, 2, 3 as a string on another. Let's just run that and see it. Oh, I'm running out of space there. Hello on 1, 2, 3. So we're formatting our strings and our display, how it appears. That's the terminology for it. And there's a nice thing with the print statement is we can use the word format, and it really helps us out. But we probably need to use variables to make it work. So let's start off with some variables. var1 equals hello. Ooh, that's not going to work. That's better. And var2 equals world. You may be wondering what happens. Let's do it here. If I've got hello with double quotes and world with single quotes, what is going to happen? And I'm going to have a third variable, var3 equals 1, 2, 3. Now that is a number. Obviously there's no quote marks around it, it's not green, and the variable is just a number. So I'm going to try to print those out all on the screen. Let's do it the bad way first. Okay, just start off with a blank window. So let's do it the bad way. Print var1 plus var2. Now we can't use the plus var3, so I will actually do it so that we can see that it's going to sort of crash because that is a number and it cannot be joined, concatenated with the plus symbol to these two. These two should be okay, but it's still going to crash my program. So let's take a look. There you go. You cannot join strings and numbers together, so we know that. So one way around that was to use, well, we haven't really decided whether var1 and var2 were working okay, but this next thing should prove it. So if I replace that with a comma, so now I can join those two to that's almost like a separate print statement, and these two should be joined. If I get an error, it's because it doesn't like joining single quotes to a double quote string. So let's try that one. And there you go, hello world 1, 2, 3, worked fine. But it's really awkward having to keep playing with pluses and commas and knowing what you've got. There's a better way of actually writing out what you want to do, and that's with the format command, and it works like this: print. Now I'm just going to put some empty quotes and then dot format. There is my word for formatting, and it's given me some sort of well, you'll understand this one day hopefully, how to lay out what I need to put into here. So I'm going to put var1, and they need to be separated by commas all the time. There's no pluses or what have you, because this is just a set of arguments, and arguments are always separated by commas. var3. So there you go. I'm saying to it, print nothing, and then have var1, var2 and var3 in there. And the way I'm going to sort of include those in my print statement is by referencing them by their number in the list. So that is the first, second and third value, but actually computers don't go from 1, they go from 0. So that would be 0, 1 and 2. And if I put some curly braces in here, 0, so that is going to print in that position var1. And then if I do 1, that's going to print in that position var2, and if I do 3, it's going to print the number in there. And I've really done away with this problem of having mixtures of commas and pluses. But before I run that one, I'm actually going to take these 2 out. Well, in fact, let's take all 3 out. Let's build this up slowly so that you can see it. So let's delete those and run this program. So what happens? Nothing at all. The program ran, but I told it not to print anything, and it didn't know what to do with these variables. So let's put that first one in, which was the 0, the first element in the list. Run that program. There you go. Hello. Let's do the second one. And run that. So we should now have hello world. Excellent. And finally, and I want you to notice the difference between this one and this one here. Hello world space 1 2 3. So I'm going to put in the second one, which is the third number in my list. Can be confusing. Okay, did we see the difference? Yep, there was no space. Which is fine. It's exactly what we want. We can change these round, so I can put 1 there, 0 there. Let's have 2 there, and let's put another 0 in there and see what we get when we run that. World hello 1 2 3 hello. So we've got a different way of formatting now, where we have our string, okay, and we inside curly braces we give a number in a list, and that needs to follow. We have to be careful that we use numbers in the list that exist. So for example, if I put a 3 in there, whoops, remember curly braces, if I put a 3 in there, I know that is number 3, 1 2 3, but remember we start from 0, so that'd be 0 1 2, and I don't have a third one. That should throw up an error. And there we go. And it says tuple index out of range. And it's telling me where it is and what it is. Let me close this down. It's getting a bit too large. Now, the nice thing about this is that we can put sort of words in between. The space dog space ran. So just random words, but we are formatting the string as we want it to be. So we're going to have the space a word, which is going to be var2, which is world, the world, space dog, space hello, space ran, space 1 2 3 hopefully. So let's run that one. And the world dog hello ran 1 2 3, but we were in control of putting these spaces in, and it really didn't care whether we got a number or whether we got a word. It just played around with it. Let's just change var2 to be a boolean. Let's call it false and see what happens. Place false. There you go. So now I've got 3 different types: hello, false, and 1 2 3. There is no way that it is going to work this way. In fact, we're probably going to get an error here. Let's run that. There you go. Can't concatenate string and bool type objects. The way round that would be to put a comma in rather than a plus sign, so we're not concatenating, we're joining them with commas. So print var1, print var2, print var3. And there we go. So the first string worked. That's the one that gave us this error before. And the false dog hello ran 1 2 3. So it doesn't matter what type I put in, okay, it doesn't crash the program. So that is quite a neat way of doing things. And again, we could put in just one last little thing. Let's take this top line out. I don't need that one. Let's put new lines in. A new line there. So the start of every word I'm going to have a new line. F5. There you go. The false, dog, hello, run, 1, 2, 3. So we've now got a very, very powerful formatting. We could do a lot more formatting. I think it's going to be a little bit complex at the moment. We will look at it for sort of making up tables of numbers where maybe we've got 3.1415 like pi, for example, but we only want to display 2 digits. We can do that. We can use formatting to do that, but not just at the moment. What I would like you to do is get used to this method. It's very versatile. We can use print on its own, like print a letter H, okay, followed by a comma, and let me just comment out this line so I don't want that one. And it prints nicely, but let's see what happens when we print I. There we go. Notice that although I printed H on one line and printed I on a separate line, they both appeared on the same line but separated with that space. Okay. So the comma can be used to join things together quite nicely that are printed on different lines, and that is a common method, particularly for printing graphics like straight lines or horizontal lines to make tables appear on the screen. It's a very common method, but we don't just use it like that. We probably use it in a loop to help us out. And you can see what happens if I take that comma out and save it. Okay, I get high printed vertically, and if we put the plus symbol in and run it, we actually get a typing mistake, a syntax error. Okay, so we can't use the plus, but the comma can be used in that position. And what it will do is print the following line on the same line. So quite a lot of formatting, quite a lot of things to go through. That's print at the moment.